Am I hard to read?
Yes.
Emotionally?
Yes.
Talk about it.
You don't. You're not. I joke around with her all the time and say you don't have feelings.
He tells me that all the time. He's like, you ain't got no feelings.
She ain't got no feelings because one, her filter, she gonna give it to you straight, no chaser. So
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
What you want?
A kiss.
Come on. Okay. Kiss, good little prize. I thought it was gonna be a little more naughty, but
Nah, we got to keep it.
Okay, so welcome to today's episode of Relationship Talk with the Geths. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button so you won't miss the new content when it drops. Today, we'll be addressing a question we got from a special person in our coaching community, the One Vision Village. The question is there a difference between loving someone with your heart and loving them with all your soul? If so, what's the difference? So in 1 John 4:8, the Bible says that God is love. And since God is love and all love comes from him, then we know that love has to be the foundation for anything to be true love. You feel me? So when we get a question or a topic from someone relating to love, our first resource is always the Bible because that's the word of God, which is the word of love. So the question again is there a difference between loving someone with your heart and loving someone with your soul? And if so, what's the difference? So let's go to the Bible. We'll look at the New Testament. This will be a little Bible trivia.
Of course.
A little Bible trivia. You know I'm good for some Bible trivia.
Of course you're going to go to the Bible.
So the first, I guess the trivia question is, what are the first 3 books of the New Testament? So if you're watching together at home, let's see who got it first. Ed, I get the first 3. Okay. Are you singing the song?
I'm singing the song. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
So first 3, what's your answer?
Matthew, Mark, Luke.
Ding, 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 ding. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are the first 3 books of the New Testament. You do. What you want?
A kiss.
Come on. Okay. Kiss, good little prize. I thought it was going to be a little more naughty, but
Nah, we got to keep it.
Okay, so the first 3 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they're known as the Synoptic Gospels, and they give us synopsis or a brief summary of many of the same stories from different points of view. So all 3 Gospels give an account of a question being posed about the greatest commandment or a way to inherit eternal life. And in all 3 accounts, Jesus answers or agrees that the greatest commandment is to love God with all your heart.
Yep.
And with all your soul.
Yep.
And with all your mind.
Correct.
So Mark and Luke add in with all your strength as well. So Jesus said that we have the capacity to love with our hearts and our souls and our minds. That and leads me to believe that each part, of us holds the capacity to offer a different aspect of love, and all are necessary for complete love. So our love relationship with God should extend to cover people, especially our spouses.
Right.
So today we'll look specifically at romantic love.
Of
and
course,
what we think it means to love from your heart.
Yes.
Soul and mind. Since Jesus, threw that in there, we're going to talk about the mind as well.
Okay.
So I want to start with the heart. What do you think about that?
Of course, with the heart. You got to start with the heart.
What when you think heart, what holiday comes to your mind?
The heart?
When you think heart.
Oh, Valentine's Day.
Right.
Valentine's Day.
So there's a reason that around Valentine's Day, we're smothered and covered in hearts. So for many cultures around the world.
So many.
For many cultures around the world, the heart shape is associated with emotions, feelings, and affection. And I think loving deeply from the heart requires a high level of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is just your ability to regulate and express your own emotions, as well as your ability to understand the emotions of other people.
Okay.
So which part do you think is more difficult for you?
With emotional intelligence?
Right. So regulating your emotions, expressing your emotions, or understanding the emotions of others.
The last one. Understand the emotions of others. That's because that's you. You're usually going to misread. Everybody always misreads somebody's emotion or misreads somebody's reaction and attribute it to emotion. You get what I'm saying? So,
am I hard to read
yes,
emotionally?
yes.
Talk about it.
You don't. You're not. I joke around with her all the time and say you don't have feelings.
He tells me that all the time. He's like, you ain't got no feelings.
She ain't got
yes,
no
I
feelings
do.
because one, her filter, she gonna give it to you straight, no chaser. So
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you don't think about how that's going to hit somebody emotionally. And believe it or not, I have been blessed that she's not a very emotional person. Like when she goes through that monthly time, she doesn't really.
That's not true. I'm gonna make that correction.
Yeah, please.
When I'm on my period, I am emotional. I know how to control it.
Yes.
So he doesn't, he's not affected by it.
Yeah, no.
But it's not that I'm abnormal and my hormones are not going crazy. Right. Like I want to go off on people. I would like to get to cussing and throwing some things.
Thank God, because when she does,
when I was pregnant, I felt some kind of way.
But you didn't. You controlled it. Like I never felt a wrath.
But it's not because I don't have emotions.
And that's why I say it's hard to read the emotions of others. That goes to the point. Like I can't really tell if you're feeling some type of way because you hide them well. And some people are like that. They keep their emotions more inner, more than outer. Me, I'm more.
Because I can read yours.
I'm outer.
He doesn't have to speak. I can read his body language.
Yes, my body language says.
His arms, his face. Like yes. I know what's up.
Yeah, anytime I'm like.
I was like, he is in his feelings. What are you upset about, sir?
Yeah, so that's why I say it's hard to read the emotions of others. I think I'm very expressive. For me, I'm very expressive. You know how I feel. If I'm angry, you know I'm angry. If I'm sad, you know I'm sad. If I'm hungry, I don't know if that's an emotion. I just wanted to throw that in there. But
hungry is not an emotion.
Hungry is
you
an emotion.
You are the greediest thing. He
I
just
am
ate
emotional
too.
when I'm hungry. That's saying I'm in a good mood. See?
For emotional. Me, I think for me, I think I discern very well. So I think
you do.
That would not be. I think probably expressing my emotions.
Oh yes.
Because I would rather not. Unless the emotion is happy or, some kind of jolly feeling. Yes. But if I'm upset, then I will communicate it. But I don't want you to get the pleasure of knowing that you got me rattled.
Absolutely.
So I don't show that.
Yeah, you'll never see her coming. That's the truth. Can I tell a story about Brielle coming home with the baby?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Remember, we had to leave Brielle for
baby.
Yeah, we had to leave Brielle for several days while we had
Brielle's our daughter.
Yeah, she's our daughter, and we had to leave her with a babysitter for about 2-3 days, maybe
5 days.
Was it 5 days?
It was.
Boy, see, husbands, we don't pay attention. So it was a long time.
We were in the hospital.
Yeah, and so it was the first time she had been away from us for so long, and when we brought Khalil home, we thought she'd be excited to see her little brother. But I like how she introduced him. These are our family. You guys know us.
I don't think you know my children.
So when she walks in, she's got this kind of, it's not even disgusted. It's more of a withdrawn look, and it didn't go how she had planned or how we had planned for it to go. I think she was a little upset that mommy and daddy had left her for a while, so she just kind of looked and just kind of okay, and a little stank, and I was like, "Come on, Brie," and I'm doing my thing, trying to get her, in the moment because I'm recording this, so I'm thinking about how this gonna look later, and she quietly, rather than show her disappointment, she goes into the back and has her little moment. That's what I say. She's not expressive.
I was heartbroken.
She was heartbroken.
Because I felt like I failed her in some kind of way. Yes. Like as a mom, you carry and you shoulder the emotional responsibility for your kids.
Right.
So you want them to always be in the best place. So I feel like, even though I knew she was with, people that loved her and she was safe, like she missed me to the point where I felt that she was disappointed because I left her.
Correct.
And I couldn't be there for both kids at the same time. So
Right.
you have a moment.
Yep.
But yeah, I have those in private.
But the thing was, I wouldn't have read that. Like, she left, and I thought she just went to use the bathroom. She was having an emotional
Complete
moment.
breakdown.
Yeah. And so that's where one of the times, like I said, well, I had a problem reading that emotion. But she can see on the other side, if, say, something comes on, like I've lost my mother. And so if a movie comes on and it talks about missing their mom, I'm usually very tense. Like, she can see me just tense up. And instead of just, me trying to hide it, which I think I am, but I'm not, she reaches over and she starts rubbing my hand or touching my back because she recognized. So she can read and discern, well, you read emotions, you don't express. And I'm the opposite.
So our mentor, Dr. Darius Daniels, breaks emotional intelligence into 4 quadrants. He was actually my introduction into emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I never heard
as a
that.
topic, right?
Yeah, it was very mind blowing. Never heard of that.
So first you have, in the first quadrant, self-awareness. So be aware of some of your emotional tendencies. And then from there, you move into the second quadrant, which is self-management.
Correct.
Be honest and figure out what kind of strategies need to be put in place to properly manage the tendencies that you discovered. So you say, okay, I know I have these tendencies. What do I need to do to manage these tendencies?
Yep.
Quadrant 3 is social awareness. Be aware of other people's emotions, particularly your spouse's. You have to pick up on the cues, pay attention to triggers, and develop a sense of empathy. And I've shared before, this is not my natural strength, but I'm working. So the empathy is not my natural strength, but because I do have a gift of discernment, like I know him through and through.
Yes.
I'm able to pick up on some of those, cues and triggers. Like I know now some of the things that I say that trigger him, or like he said, the movie that he was watching that may trigger him. So that's the type of detail that you have to pay to your spouse to be able to stand in for them emotionally. So he's actually empathetic if he ever knows anything's going on. That's just probably, he don't know what's going on around him. But if I will communicate,
Yes.
if I communicate, look, this is what I'm feeling,
Yes.
then he's really good. And
Yes.
he has empathy.
Let me know.
So what's helped you develop your sense of empathy? Because that's something I'm working on. Were you born that way?
I feel like I was born that way. I feel like I was born that way, like just having that spirit of caring, just always thinking about the way somebody receives things. I say all the time, when I say something to somebody, is it better that it's said or received? And so I'm always thinking of the best way somebody receives something. And I'm such a people person, and words of affirmation and adoration mean something to me. So if I make somebody feel good, that's kind of like an adoration, like, oh man, I did that.
That's what I was going to ask you. I wanted to know if your sense of empathy is really rooted in the care you have for other people,
right?
Or is it rooted in the way that you love to be loved? And if you show this care, that what you'll receive in return is what you desire. So is the empathy that you have about you, or is it about them?
Oh, dang, you're making it sound kind of bad, but I believe it's a little bit of both, but I definitely think it's rooted in being about me.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
Right, but that's a light bulb just went off for me.
Right.
Because if that's the case for a lot of people, then that explains why I don't have it. Because I don't need that back from people.
That's true. Yeah, you don't need that.
That makes sense.
It does. So again, going back to love language, know what your love language is, because then it'll explain how your emotional intelligence will play in your relationship.
Quadrant 4 is relationship management. So you're relating to your partner based on your awareness of where they are and how they are emotionally. So you have to let your observation and your knowledge of them influence the way you handle them. So what you know about them really should. So if you already know that you doing or saying something is going to send them to a new level of anger.
That part.
This is going to make him or her throw stuff. or get to cussing and embarrass you,
Yes.
then you really have to think about how you handle it. Maybe you should say this a different way.
Right.
So this right here is a strength of mine. I feel like knowing things about you and handling you a different way.
Absolutely.
I mean, not that I just be handling you or whatever, but I kind of be
handle,
handling you.
Yeah, you handle me. I mean, in all ways, shapes, and forms. Handle. Anyway, emotional intelligence handling. I see, now I got off. I had a topic.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
so
get me back on track.
How do you feel like you can improve the way you love from your heart? So since we're talking about, the heart being the place where you are emotionally intelligent and you love with the emotions, how do you think a person can improve that?
Going back to the strength and the basis of what we do everything here, communication. The more you talk.
Your personal development.
Oh, personal development. Oh, I thought you were saying the other person. Okay.
Like if I'm saying, you need to get better at the way you love with your heart, like emotionally, you're just off and you're all over the place. Like, how do you think that people can get better at that?
Get better at controlling their own emotions.
Because that's where it starts.
That's the
first quadrant.
That is where it starts. Figure out what relaxes you. Always trying to, like, self-care, they say, is always the best care.
Okay.
So learning yourself, learning what your triggers are, and avoiding those triggers is the first thing. And I do think, and you're going to be surprised I say this, being aware of what you put in your body is important. You get what I'm saying? Like high sugar intake. We've kind of been on a little journey, and I have learned that the less sugar I have, the less anxious I am.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard you say that.
Yeah, and listen, I have to be on. I got to hold myself accountable.
Because when you said what you put in your body, I was really thinking, what about that liquor? Because some people turn into someone else. Some people turn into somebody else.
That's another
if
one.
They drinking.
That's
or
another
smoking.
one. That's another one. Yeah, that's another one.
When I drink,
Absolutely.
I blame it on the alcohol.
And that goes to the next one. What we self-medicate, like smoking, and nowadays this vaping. Dealing with young people, I was surprised at how often they told me that I vape or I smoke or hit weed pens.
Yeah.
Because it calms my nerves. I'm like, nerves? These kids?
Right.
What nerves do y'all have at 15? But it's true. Like,
right.
and that carries over into adulthood. So being aware of what you put in your body, I think is... That's
good. Another thing you could, I think journaling is really good for that. There's this thing when you're journaling, naming and taming. It's a great journaling tool. So what you do is you analyze what you're feeling. And you're like, okay, what am I experiencing right now? You give it a name, and then you figure out how to tame that feeling. So because I think, anger, anxiety, fear, those things are different. So which one of them are you actually feeling? Now, how can you tame it? When you're angry, if the first thing you do is start punching or throwing things or calling people out of their name, and then you have to come back and apologize for it, what can you do differently to tame that?
Right.
If you're fearful, what is the behavior that usually comes from this fear or anxiousness?
Yes.
Like if you always go to a substance, okay, now that I know I'm self-medicating, what is something else that I can do when I feel this way? So that can all come out when you're journaling. How do I operate wisely in this space that I'm in? Because usually it goes left. So another way to improve the way you love from your heart is through joining a coaching community. It's hard to manage yourself by yourself. So in our community, the One Vision Village, we have group date nights, retreats, getaways. We also have a Facebook page where we talk about different topics. It's been wonderful for us to have that support. So let's go ahead and move to. So that's what we feel about loving from the heart.
Okay.
So now loving from your soul.
Ooh.
So I did some research. I really did. Deep. I went in. So according to loveandtreasure.com, the main difference between loving someone with your heart and loving them with your soul is that your heart expresses love through emotions, like we talked about, and affection. And then your soul expresses love through devotion. So then I had to say, okay, well, y'all know how I feel about the dictionary and
Look up
Oxford.
devotion. You know
I got to look it up.
You know it's coming.
Because I need the words to mean what they're supposed to mean.
She's big on this.
I am. So Oxford says that devotion means love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person. So let's look at loyalty first, because I think that a lot of times when people hear the word loyalty, they think of faithfulness.
They do. That is the number one thing.
You be like, you ain't loyal, but what does that actually mean?
Right.
So according to Oxford,
Back to Oxford,
the word loyal means giving or showing firm and constant support. That doesn't mean faithful. Firm and constant support is what loyal means. So what do you think that looks like coming from a woman to a man? What does loyalty look like? Firm and constant support. Don't say like me, because you, baby. I already know. I knew that was coming. You a big flirt.
See how she knows me?
You a big flirt. I saw when you turn your head to the side. Head Gift about to come with, so he about to try it.
All right.
So
firm loyalty.
So firm support. And so what does that look like from a woman to a man?
From a woman to a man, that looks like the woman knowing what a man is trying to accomplish in life, knowing where a man is, and knowing what journey he's on, and being in full support, knowledge, and help of that journey. Like, she's with him. She's not saying, well, you kind of do that part by yourself, and when you get that together, I'll be over here. No. What do you need?
Fellas, listen to me. I feel him on that, and I think that a lot of men want that. But please listen to what he said. He said that a woman knowing and understanding his dreams, the journey that he's on, there is no way for her to know and understand that if you don't.
Ooh.
So men folk, if you need a woman to support you and be loyal to you,
you gotta know your
and
journey.
loyal to you, you have to know and be able to communicate your dreams, your journey.
Yeah.
Because if you're out here guessing, then what does she have to support?
Right.
She has to understand the game plan. So if you have a whole journey, it's like you're coaching this team, and in pregame, you like, I don't really know who we're playing, what we're doing.
Yes.
We're going to throw the ball up, just do the best you can.
Yes.
That's not really fair to a woman.
Right.
To say she's not loyal or she's not supportive if you're not giving her something to support that she understands.
And if you don't I feel you totally. If you don't have a dream, a journey, a goal, and you're like, man, let's just have some fun. We together, let's have some fun. You're going to get bored. That eventually gets boring. It runs out. So you got to have something else outside of, we just have fun, we chill, we kick it, and that's it.
No. Unless that's all you want.
And that's all you want.
But if you actually want
you're going to get
tired
of that. That's not a lasting relationship. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to last. So it's going to be fun. But
for momentarily.
Yeah.
So devotion does mean being loyal or supportive. The other part of devotion was the enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm means intense and eager enjoyment,
Here we go,
interest, or approval. So for the couple that says, hey, we don't enjoy each other and we're no longer interested in each other, but our desire is to love each other with our souls.
Right.
What's your advice to them?
That goes back to what I just previously said. When you are the fun, like, okay, what are we doing? Like, I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again. What's next? That's where the enthusiasm come in.
But tell me, how can couples increase enjoyment and interest once it's fizzled out? So they used to. Let's say they used to really enjoy it. But, I mean, we understand the kids and bills and work and responsibilities will fizzle your stuff out. It will. So how can you get back to enjoying each other?
Talking about goals, talking about life. What do you want to accomplish? Because then when the stuff is fizzled out, you realize, listen, we are supposed to be here. We said we were doing this. Let's talk about doing this. And then that'll create excitement somewhere, because now you're planning. You're like, okay, you do this, I do that. And it may not be as much fun, but at least y'all have something going together and you kind of make it fun. because now y'all are both planning the next thing. Hey, we're going into real estate, so I need you to research this. I need you to find this, and then y'all, that planning part and that talking about coming together as a team. Now you have a goal, so now it kind of forces you to still talk about things. It still forces you to have ideas. It still forces you to have some type of action that you're doing together. It may not be the most fun, but it's still something that you guys are enthusiastic about because you're like, okay, we got to get this. We got to get this. It's kind of like a competition, and y'all on the same team.
So we are both high school teachers, and we both work with students with disabilities.
Yes.
And a lot of times what helps our kids is let's say they're taking a test.
Right.
They're taking some sort of assessment. We will pull them out of the big class of 30 kids and put them in a class where maybe there are only 7 or 8 kids to decrease distractions.
Right.
We'll also seat them away from people that would normally be in their ear.
Yes.
So we put them in a place where they can focus.
Yes.
And it's very helpful.
Yes.
Getting them to focus on what's going on right then. So I will say this happened to us yesterday. I'm very transparent with y'all. And like you better tell all our business.
All our business.
So,
I know it's something with me. I already know. Go ahead.
It's real strange, but I was talking to him and I said, we need to do some. I said, I feel distance between us.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, really? Why? And I explained to him why I felt this distance. And I said, what do you think that we can do to, come back together? Because anytime I experience that, anytime he experiences that, we voice it.
We do.
So that it just doesn't, whatever wedge is there, doesn't just continue. And so what helped us yesterday is we sent these kids to the babysitter. Because our children are, like I told you about the kids in our high school class, our kids are like distractions for the actual marriage relationship.
It is.
Because they take our attention.
They do.
We have 2 of them, 4 and 1. They are demanding of our attention.
They could care less.
And our energy, our attention, our energy, our mood, because where we might have had, candles lit or a little music playing.
Mommy, what's this?
Mommy, what's this? We got home playing on the TV or some little kid praise and worship. And they running around puking. Ooh. They got poop everywhere. What is that smell? That's not sexy. And so we don't focus as much on each other when they're there.
Right.
And so the first thing we did was get them gone.
Right.
We got some food. It ain't got to be no expensive food. We got like some biscuits. It was breakfast time. And we talked. And we talked about our goals things that we have coming up.
We did.
And not just like burdensome business. Oh, we got to pay this bill. We dreamed.
We did.
We dreamed together.
We dreamed out loud.
What do we want in the next couple of years? What are some things we can work towards? If we accomplish this, if this goal, or when we accomplish this, what do you want to do with the proceeds? Who do you want to bless? That type of thing. And slowly but surely.
Yeah,
we start coming together. That's when that rubbing and touching the rubbing can happen right there.
Had a nice,
after
good,
you know what I'm saying?
Nice,
so,
good kiss. Nice, good kiss at the end of it.
Just from our heart to yours, if you feel like your enjoyment is not there and that it's fizzled out, like there are things that you can put into place or things that you can remove. Sometimes it's not children. Sometimes it's parents or friends. Or jobs that you just gonna have to say, wait, job.
Yeah, wait, job.
I'm gonna have to take a day off.
Correct.
We're going to have to, rework a budget here and there. We're going to have to take some time off so that we can refocus on why we're even here.
Right. And find something common to talk about, dream about. You don't always have to talk about what's tedious, what's hard. Talk about what's next. Talk about something that's pleasurable in the future.
That you both are excited about.
Correct.
Not that one person is excited about and the other one sees as burdensome.
Yes.
It has to be something that you're both excited about. Because one part of loving enthusiastically is that we didn't touch on was the approval piece. How do you think that we can express, your approval in a relationship? Because it did say that a part of enthusiasm is approval.
Give me a meaning of what they're looking at with approval. If I approve of things that you do and say, what are the best ways to express that to you? Oh, that you approve what I'm saying?
or doing
I mean,
in my enthusiasm
and your
of
enthusiasm.
loving you? How can I show my approval?
I mean, I love.
Tell the people, tell the truth.
Listen, I love when I come walking through that door and you run up and give me a hug and a kiss, something simple like that. When the kids run up and then you run behind them, yes, I love it. Now, there was one day, like you raced them. You said, I'm going to get the daddy first. I mean, that kind of, boy, that makes you feel good about coming home. And it approves that, okay, I had a day's work. She approves of the work. You used to do this thing where, I say now I'm going to misquote the Bible. Who was it that
Please
killed,
don't.
who killed
Here we go,
they
Tyler
10,000? Who killed they 10,000? Who slayed they 1,000? Come on, help me. Don't
Talking
make
about
don't make me
Saul
look
and
bad.
David.
Saul, that's what it was. So yeah, like I ain't even know what the meaning of it was, but it sounded good. Hey, Egg slayed his 10,000.
Yes,
And I was like, oh, I sure did.
indeed.
I did.
So for me, approval, please make sure somebody somewhere cleans my
I know
house.
what this is, and
Give
I
me
have
some
learned.
food. Give me some
I have
head.
learned.
I want it.
So
Clean house, food, head. Let's go.
I can't believe she said that.
I did.
But
I meant it. I meant every bit
that
of
threw
it.
me off. Y'all see, I had a point that
You
I was
did-
froze.
you-
I like, ooh, did she say what I think she said? I'm gonna try to keep going and act like she didn't say it.
You don't even know what you about to say.
I forgot. Cause
We
now
might as well recap.
okay, let's recap.
So to recap,
whatever I was gonna say,
one
it's
part
not gonna
of-
top that. So
One part of loving your spouse with all you wish you had thought of that.
I wish I did. I would have said it. I was thinking it. I didn't say
Said
it. Anyway, go ahead.
One part of loving your spouse with all your soul includes showing devotion to them by showing firm and constant support with enthusiasm. Now, how do we love with our minds? I think the mind represents thoughts, passions, and decision making.
Yes.
So if you've seen the movie Sister Act 2, you know I'm all about Sister Act 2. If you're familiar with Rita, that's the character that Lauryn Hill played. And then there was a scene where Whoopi Goldberg's character, Sister Mary Clarence, told her that if you wake up in the morning and you can only think of singing, you're supposed to be a singer, girl. Really? So how many times have you seen the movie?
That was a good movie. It's a good movie. Come on, that's in the
So-
Black household. There's a list,
That's in
just
there.
on Facebook. Black households list of movies. That's in there.
It is.
You got to know that one.
I think okay. So in that scene where she said you're supposed to be a single girl, I think she was describing what it feels like to have passion. So when we're passionate about someone or something, our thoughts naturally navigate there. So some of our passions are natural. We've always carried them with us, and other passions have to be cultivated. Think about it. We're all born in sin. So if we're born with a passion, we're not born with a passion for God.
We have to recognize.
So if we're all born in sin, you're not born with a passion of God. We have to recognize the need for Him, learn about Him, spend time with Him, and really invest in growing the relationship to build passion for Him. The same is true of our relationships. So many start with, what feels like passion, and then the thoughts are overtaken with infatuation. But when life starts lifing,
Yes.
and we think about bills, kids, work, friends, family, a lot of things that, come before our spouses sometimes. After God, the spouses should be next in our priority line, in our thoughts.
You got a point.
Yeah, it's not about just sitting around thinking about them all day, but prioritizing your spouse with your thoughts means that you consider them with your thoughts in decision making. You consider what's important to them,
Right.
and you honor them with your time.
Yes.
You consider how your choices will affect them. Pleasing them is important to you. Like, do you feel like you love me well with your mind?
I have had to work in that area because in me, loving with your mind is being mindful of them. And when you're mindful with your thoughts, always follows with actions. What you think, so
Preach
you
it,
will
yeah.
do. And so I had to make sure it wasn't just my mind and then my mouth. Because I was giving you good words. I was giving you good, but then the actions weren't there. So I had to learn that thoughtfulness leads to actions. And that's, to me, what loving with the mind. I mean, because your actions will show what is on your mind. And so you have to make sure when you have your thoughts, you follow them up with actions.
Do you feel like you prioritize me with your thoughts?
Yes, that I do. That I do. But I had to make sure you recognize that I'm mindful of you with the actions. Sometimes I didn't. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I get caught in the moment. We had to talk about this the other day. When I look,
By the other day? Yesterday.
See,
yesterday.
Again, putting the business out there. Like when I'm in, say, practice mode or basketball mode, I sometimes put a lot more time and not knowing, okay, I need to be home at a certain amount of time so that she can have help with the kids, with bathing, with feeding, because that's a lot on her. Or it's just fair to her if she's cooking something and I show up at enough time to where I'm enjoying the food while it's hot, while it's freshly prepared.
Or just your presence at home.
Or just presence at home. So it's one thing to make sure that whenever I get there, I'm mindful, but no, wherever I am, that I'm mindful of the time that is away from her and the kids. Like I have to prioritize, all right, I need to make sure that this is organized so well that it does not take away time from building my marriage.
This is one of the things I was talking about, passions that you're born with versus passions that you have to cultivate. He's, as long as I've known him, he's had a strong passion for basketball. It's just there for playing it beforehand and then now coaching it. He's passionate about it. During season, out of season, it's on his mind. He's
all
watching basketball videos. How can I get better as a coach? Like, that's a passion of his.
Consumes me.
Passion in a relationship
Yes.
is something that he has to cultivate.
Yes.
Now, I'm not talking about, sex. Or what I can do for him.
That stay on my mind too.
Right. What I can do for him is always on his mind.
Yes.
What he can do for me is not. And so that's something that he can work on, that he is working on. And I think we have to be mindful of those things and put the effort in.
I hope the people see that we not preaching at y'all. We going through something and sharing with you. We're definitely sharing. And hopefully it helps somebody. Like we ain't talking the talk without walking the walk. Like we really go through these things and we really walk these things out. And we've been blessed to be able to communicate well. And, it's just been laid on our heart that what we're going through, we want to see other marriages thrive because we realize this is definitely the kingdom work that God wants.
And it's work.
It is.
It's not, when you're going through it, like that wasn't a conversation that I wanted to have yesterday, but it needed to happen so that we could get to a better place, and it worked. And so those conversations are important. It's not always about him having to cultivate, mindfulness of me. I have to constantly work on cultivating respect with my tone and the word and my word choice. Yes. Because naturally, I just say whatever I want to say. Ooh. So I have to run it through a filter so that it's respectful to him. And that's me being mindful. That's a way of me loving him with my mind.
I got to admit, you are going from the take it how you want to take it to, okay, let me make sure you understand what I mean when I say this. Like that, I'll give you.
So to answer the initial question is yes. I believe that loving from your heart, soul, and mind are different, but all necessary for complete love.
Absolutely.
For more information about our coaching services, courses, marriage tools, events, and getaways, go to onevisionerc.com.
Again, that website is onevisionerc.com.
If you had a good time hanging out with us and you got something out of it, go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss the next one.
Hit the button.
And like it so we'll know you enjoyed it. Share it with somebody so they can be blessed too. And we'll see you next time.